Hi, and welcome to The Real Deal with Deb. Being born into dysfunctional generational trauma, I know too well the effects it can have in all the different areas of our life. So I decided to create a space to support women of all ages where we can grow together while sharing personal and entrepreneurial lessons learned through authentic connection, love, and laughter. After 30 plus years of building a successful business as a REMAX realtor while studying emotional intelligence skills throughout my career and life, I now want to help support other women and empower them to tap into their own emotional intelligence skills. Hey, it's Deb, and welcome to my very first episode of The Real Deal with Deb. So, what's the podcast all about? And how can it help you? Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I come from a small border town city called Sarnia, Ontario, in Canada, and definitely was a great place to grow up. I left for several years, and family drew me back, as well as the people, the warm, inviting people here, and the support. So feel very blessed to live here. I was born into generational passed down trauma from both sides of my parents, unfortunately. But you know what? Shit happens. And yes, did it make growing up challenging in many ways, for sure. But even at a young age, I chose and decided to look beyond, what the pain was. How I was feeling, because half the time I couldn't deal with how I was feeling, so I would block it out. However, I did learn some really valuable lessons that have served me well throughout my life from that experience. So I do believe, let's face it, most of us have dealt with, dysfunction on some level, trauma. I mean, there's tons of different types of trauma. And it does affect us. And I share lessons that I've learned. How did I break the cycle? I'll tell you right off the bat, I broke the cycle once I became a mother and realized that I wanted more for my son, that I wanted him simply to become the man that he is today. And that wouldn't have happened had I stayed in the relationship I was in. As well, what else can I share with you? I wrote a book. I never wanted to write a book, but at age 50, I started journaling after the loss of my father and my older sister, who was like a mother to me. We were very, very close. So as we know, when we go through losses in life, we reevaluate. I think also turning 50, I'm not getting any younger. So it also, made me realize about my own mortality. Like, how much more do any of us really know that we have? Was there anything else I wanted to accomplish? What else is there? Finding a new purpose. I could feel changes happening. I think, as we grow older, we also grow. We change. In hopefully better ways. I'd like to think that, most of us do learn lessons and move forward and give life all we have. And so I guess through that, I started thinking about, what else, how else can I help? How can I make a difference? What can I do to perhaps help others and help all of us, like each other together? And so that's what made me start thinking about, well, maybe I can do a podcast. How difficult can it be? Well, let me tell you, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. But besides that, I'm just really excited to start a journey to build a community for women of all ages. It doesn't matter, young, old, in the middle, whatever stage of life that you may be at. We're all going through different things. Our world is much more stressful these days. How do we deal with it all? Especially when having children in the mix. How do we raise children and be able to be there when there's so many more demanding tasks that it seems that we need to finish. I also realized that, through adversity, we also change, or we stay stuck. I guess the decision is up to us. About 6 years ago now, I was in a bad car accident. Wrong place, wrong time, you could say. But anyways, it left me after 2 years of dealing with pain and, doing physio, doing everything I needed to try to get me stronger. It just wasn't working. And finally, an MRI was done, and it was discovered that I needed cervical spinal surgery. So that was a big yikes. And that was at the beginning of COVID as well. So my hubby had to basically drop me off at the front door, to speak, and say, good luck with that. But I had really good success. They said, they told me what 80% was, and I made it up 80%. So really grateful. So I think that was the first kind of time that I had, really, because I had to slow right down. I mean, to a halt, right? You're in a neck brace for a few months, you're healing. So I had a lot of time on my hands to reflect. Okay, so how am I feeling? How have I changed? What more do I want to do? What more could I do? And although I hadn't put my finger on it yet, I knew that something was brewing inside of me. But as a lot of us do, I didn't listen. I healed, and then I got back to my career. I have been a RE/MAX realtor for over 30 years now. So it, again, back into that fast pace and the hustle bustle of life. And I realized later on, the reason why I stay so busy is because I didn't really want to deal with some things. And that's a good way not to deal with them, right? Let's just stay real busy. And I discovered that when I began writing my book, actually journaling at the age of 50. And through the time I had, through healing, I finished writing my book, No Thanks, I'm Full, and I published it last year. And, it was definitely one of my most challenging accomplishments. It took me off and on 10 years to write, through editing, and I even, I hired a publishing firm here in Canada to help with the process. But I still had to do the work, the editing and all the rest of it. And it was like 9 months. So kind of like the same time to have a baby. So it's a huge commitment. My hat's off and full love and gratitude for all you great writers out there. It's generally done, or not generally, it's truly done for the love of writing and expressing. So to all you authors and writers, thank you so much. Now back to the podcast. Well, okay, here's the deal. We're going to have authentic, real, honest conversations with one another. I interviewed some women, different parts of the world, locally here, women that can share with all of us lessons learned and, be who we are, authentically who we are, and not be afraid to ask a question or be judged, because that's not what my goal is, and that's not going to happen. So I really thought, you know what, it's time, and before I run out of time, to give back. And what really cemented it for me, guys, was 4 months ago, I woke up in the hospital after having emergency surgery done because my one bowel perforated. And let me tell you, if I didn't appreciate life before this happened, I certainly do now. It was very scary. I'm so grateful, very, very grateful that I'm still here. There's a reason, and I think that reason is, Deb, do the damn podcast. So listen, I look forward to sharing this new journey in my life with you. And again, we all live in this big world together. And we all go through stuff. And so you can either get stuck in the stuff, in the shit, or you learn from it, grow from it, and move forward and share what you've learned with others. Again, we're all here together, man. Let's just help each other out. But I look forward to sharing my new journey with all of you. And it'll be every Friday that I put it out on different platforms. Please subscribe to YouTube. I know I'll be on there for sure. And I really appreciate that you took the time to stop by and check me out. Have a good one. Thanks again for taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. If there's a topic you'd like me to discuss, please reach out at therealdealwithdeb@gmail.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd really appreciate it if you left me a review. And as always, keeping it real. Until next time.